Hey there, welcome to Tuesday Tips, where we bring you ideas for maximizing your presence as a coach, whether that's through business building tips, skill development tips, ways that we show up as a leader, as a coach. And this week, we're looking at credentialing because your credential as a coach is something that if you've earned it, you've worked very hard to get it. If you are in the place of working toward it, this is information that you're going to need moving forward. And just in general, when we as a professional have taken the time to earn a license, a credential, uh, different different ways to kind of show up in our profession that show that we've done the work and we follow ethics and standards. Those are important things. So what do we want to do to hold on to those and to keep it square? Now, I'm Meg Rentschler. I'm the host of the Star Coach Show. And over the years of teaching and mentoring over 2,000 coaches, one of the things that I hear on a regular basis is, oh my gosh, my credential. I forgot to keep up with my credential. And now I'm like at the deadline, or even worse, I've passed the deadline and I don't have all my criteria met. So, what I want to do today is lean into what if you are an ICF credentialed coach. And we're going to go with the ICF because that's sort of the gold standard. That is if you meet ICF criteria, you're probably meeting the criteria for other things as well. As a matter of fact, even if you're, let's say, an HR professional and you've got your HR license, sometimes the things that you do for coaching can also go towards that credential. So the ICF credentialing process, what does that look like? And what do you need to fulfill to meet your criteria? This is not new information. Totally get that you could get this off the ICF website. And I also know that sometimes that can feel cumbersome or confusing. So we're going to lean into it right now. And I'm going to give you some ideas today of ways to get your continuing education hours. What is required when it comes to continuing ed? So, and how to kind of manage your time period so that you're not at the very end going, holy schmoly, I am like, I had passed, or I've only got this much time and I don't know what to do with it. So let's look at that bucket of your credential and how to manage that in a timely way so you're ahead of the clock. You're not trying to make up time and you don't miss a beat, that this is just something that you can kind of enjoy and lean into and be planful and mindful and intentional about your growth as a coach. When you get your credential, whether it's an ACC, PCC, or MCC, as a coach, you begin the 3-year cycle, 3 years that credential stays active. In that 3 years, you have 40 hours of continuing education to accumulate. Now, that 40 hours is broken into a minimum of 24 hours must be core competency hours. Those are sort of the gold hours, the hours that usually take more planning, preparation, like they are skill focused, core competency focused. They're usually pre-approved hours, right? So at least 24 of your hours must be core competency hours. Now, with that being said, you could have all 40 hours being core competency hours. Often, all 40 of my hours are continuing education, core competency continuing education. However, there's another category of continuing education, and that is called resource development. Under the resource development umbrella, you could have up to 16 hours of resource development. Resource development include things like self-study. They include things like business development. They include listening to the Star Coach Show and being able to say, this is how this episode that was 40 minutes long impacted my development as a coach, or the way that I'm showing up as a coach. So the resource development gives us a little more wiggle room, gives us some things that we could read a book and write a paragraph about how that book influenced the way that we are showing up as a coach. And it took me 4 hours to read the book. That's 4 hours of self-study towards resource development. Now, if you are a PCC or an MCC, your continuing education, once again, at least 24 hours of core competency, up to 16 hours could be resource development. You pretty much can fill those in however you want to do those. If you are renewing as an ACC coach, you must get 10 hours of the 40 hours. 10 hours are mentor coaching hours. Now, there's lots of different ways to get mentor coaching. My favorite way to deliver mentor coaching over my 15, 16 years of delivering mentor coaching, I believe that the biggest learning comes from doing a combination of group where you are learning about the competencies and practicing coaching with feedback in a group setting, along with individual hours where you're doing one-on-one with your mentor coach. Now, I would also say that in my experience, the best way to use your one-on-one sessions is to actually side-by-side listen with your mentor coach to a session that you have recorded with a peer, with a client, where you can get some real-time feedback about the things that you're doing well, the questions that you're asking, and get alternative ideas, other ways to grow and stretch into your coaching by listening to your recording with your mentor coach. It's just, I hear again and again and again from my mentees, oh my gosh, excuse me, that was the best learning. Excuse me. Even if it was maybe a little uncomfortable, it was great learning. Just a second. Whoops. I don't think I'm muted. Okay, let's continue past my coughing fit. So when you are an ACC, it is required that you get those 10 hours of mentor coaching. Those 10 hours of mentor coaching are applied to core competency, continuing education. So if you think about the fact that you have to do 40, 10 hours off the top are mentor coaching. So now you're down to 30. 3 hours must be ethics, whether you're ACC, PCC, or MCC. 3 hours of your continuing education must be ethics. Well, get this. The ICF at coachingfederation.org has a free ethics course that you can take that gives you your 3 hours of ethics. So you put your 10 hours of mentor coaching with your 3 hours of ethics. If you're an ACC coach, right there, you've got 13 hours core competency continuing education. Now, the mentor coaching element, you can get mentor coaching and apply it to your core competency, whether you're a PCC, ACC, or MCC. It's just required for ACC. But often I have PCCs that join my mentor program because they love the hands-on growth experience that comes with mentor coaching. So you can get mentor coaching. As a matter of fact, I'm working towards my MCC right now. So I'm doing mentor coaching with a mentor coach. That's going to apply to my core competency continuing education credits and to my work towards MCC. The other thing that I would encourage you to think about is if you take your 40 hours of continuing education and you know that you've got a 3-year span to collect those 40 hours of continuing education, then you can be intentional and thoughtful about how do you want to fulfill those? Do you have a particular interest in something that you want to, maybe you want to learn more about neuroscience. Maybe you want to learn more about intuition. The great thing about the coaching field is that if you're interested in neurodiversity, if you're interested in relationship coaching, if you're interested in um, executive coaching, whatever that is, there's probably something that you can zero in on and get your continuing education regarding that. As a matter of fact, my guest in tomorrow's show is an intuitive coach. She has an intuitive coaching program for coaches who want to build that muscle. Her name is Grace Kelpis, and she is amazing. And I really encourage you to tune in and listen to tomorrow's new episode on coaching and intuition in the chaos of the world today. So, as we manage our credential and we manage the clock around that, so we stay ahead of the clock, we are doing so in a way that we're intentional about building our muscles in a way that is meaningful to us. That's how we do it without missing a beat. We look at the 3-year period and we say, I know I need 40 hours. What lights me up? What excites me? What do I want to gain in building out my muscles over this next 3 years? Who do I want to work with as a mentor if I need to work as a mentor? Who sort of gets me? Who do I enjoy spending time with? And remember, and this is super important, mentoring must extend a minimum of 3 months, which is another reason to keep ahead of your credential. If you are re-credentialing and you need mentor coaching, you're going to have to plan for it. You can't do your mentor coaching in a week. The ICF requires, so that you really learn and grow through it, that you spend a minimum of 90 days in mentor coaching. Another reason to plan ahead. If you want to know more about my mentor coaching program, go to starcoachshow.com/mentor. Pretty easy. starcoachshow.com/mentor to just to know when it is, what dates. And I actually have 2 programs that are listed right now. I've got one that's starting in April. So it's starting actually a week from yesterday. We've got a mentor program starting in spring, and then I've got one starting in the fall. But the issue is whether you choose to do that or not, just think through your continuing education. What do I need? I know I need 40 hours of continuing education. There are so here's some secrets for ways to get great continuing education for little or no money. Now, mentor coaching is going to probably cost you money. But to really get good mentor coaching, that might be an investment worth it for you. Good continuing education, also, there might be a program that you want to invest in and do, and that's great. However, if you are needing some continuing education and you're not sure where to look, I'm gonna give you my new favorite resource. Go to coachingfederation.org. If you are a member of the ICF, you can access training for free. And it applies to both core competency and resource development. The way to do that is once you're on coachingfederation.org, search for communities of practice. In coaching, the ICF website, coachingfederation.org, there are things called communities of practice. The communities of practice are broken into different, there's for leadership and executive coaching. There's for, I should know more of the ethics. I know there's one around ethics. There's one around group and team coaching. There's probably like 8 to 10 different communities of practice. This is the deal. This is I think it's becoming more and more well known, but lots of people still don't know about it. And it's really a great resource. Search for communities of practice. If you are a member of the ICF, you have to put in sort of your name and what community of practice you might be most interested in. However, once you get in behind that, and that doesn't cost you anything to get in behind that, then you can say, let me explore coaching supervision. That's another one. Let me explore what is coaching supervision. So you go in and they're going to have a library of resources, both what's coming up that if you want to attend live, but also what has already been presented, explored, and you can add those to like a queue, a library of things that you can listen to. And then once you listen to them, you answer a few questions, you get whatever the continuing ed was for that. So if you need core competency continuing education, go through the library, look for like, what do they have that counts as core competency? Does that interest me? Yeehaw. Let me click on it. Let me add it to my queue. Let me watch it and get my continuing education for $0. I did a presentation for the executive coaching and leadership that is, I believe it's like, I don't know, 0.5 core competency and 0.5 resource development or something like that. You can go in, watch them, answer a few questions about them, and lo and behold, you start gaining your continuing education. Other ways to get continuing education. Join your ICF chapter. ICF chapters do continuing education either monthly, or I don't know how many times I've been a guest speaker for ICF chapters. So they do them. They do them all the time, and you can get your continuing education that way. You can, like I said, for resource development, read a book, listen to the podcast, do different things that you just have to kind of give a testimony like this helped me in this way, and that's how come it is a self-study, or it is continuing my growth as a coach this way. Those core competency ones are easiest to get if you get pre-approved ones. But once again, 10 hours, if you do mentor coaching, that counts as 10 hours of core competency continuing education. And I got to tell you, it is an incredible way to build those muscles. So my advice to you, just in general, is stay on top of your credential. It's your credential. Nobody else is going to care about it to the level that you do. Know when it's going to expire and plan out. Be intentional. What do you want to learn about? What's exciting for you? What conferences might you want to attend that will fill your bucket of continuing education? What is it that you think, oh, I want to know more about? Well, what the heck? Let me visit a community of practice training and learn more about coaching supervision, or learn more about how to build this muscle or do this. There is such a library full of great resources for you. Who do you want to work with? What lights you up? Those are things that you can plan for in the way of budget, in the way of your time and energy, and that gets you your continuing education, so that when you know, like I know that December of this year, I have to turn in for my renewal. And I should probably do it before December, because December 31st is when it expires. So what am I doing to fill my bucket of continuing education? like I just said earlier, I'm actually working with a mentor right now because mentor coaching is going to be part of my continuing education. And I'm going to be ready, hopefully long before December, to say, here's what I did to continue my growth and development as a coach. And this is how I am renewing my credential. Part of being a professional and that follows ethics and standards is that we're continuing to build our muscle all the time. We're not one and done with training. Like, oh, I did my training 15, 16, 18, 20 years ago. I'm done. I don't have to do any more. No, we have to do training on a continuous basis. It's part of keeping our saw sharpened. So if you're here watching live, put a comment in. Let me know what lights you up, what excites you, what's the next thing that you want to learn about. I've got to tell you that I was at a conference this past weekend and met some of the most amazing speakers. One speaker that I'm going to learn more from and just follow and was just enthralled by her was Dr. Husan Moon. Oh my goodness. If you're unfamiliar with her, actually, I just got her book in the mail. I just got it. So I ordered it because, oh my goodness, she just really lit me up. Coaching A to Z. I can't wait to read it. But her training was so phenomenal. When you meet people that just light you up, how can you learn even more from them? These are ways that you can continue to kind of build your muscle, lean into continuing education in a way that excites you rather than like, oh, I got to do continuing ed and I don't want to do continuing ed. I got to tell you that when we wait till the last minute, that ends up being, it becomes a drudgery rather than something that lights you up and excites you. So if you are in a place where you would like to work with me around mentoring, I would love to invite you into the program. It's a small group. It's a hybrid of group and one-on-one with me. And I am delighted to say that participants year after year after year say it's one of the best things that they've ever done. And I'm not saying that to blow my own horn. I'm saying that because I think that working together around our skills as a coach, working in a group of other coaches to help us learn from other people, see other styles of coaching, get direct feedback, really lean into the competencies and what does it mean when we're doing those things really, really well. I don't think that there's anything like it. So with that, I do have a group starting next week and one starting in the fall. Check it out at starcoachshow.com/mentor, MENTOR. And if you want to learn about intuition and coaching, be sure to check out our newest episode that's coming out tomorrow with Grace Kelpis, who is an intuitive coach. She was amazing. I'm super excited to bring that episode to you. And every Tuesday, I come to you with some kind of tip to help you be a better coach. This week, it was all about our credential because you know what? It's your credential. Protect it. You worked hard to get it. And every week, I'm about something, some tip or strategy or tool to help you be a better coach, a stronger coach, a more excited coach, whatever it is that lights you up. So until next week, this is Meg Rentschler wishing you the very best for your success. I adore being a part of the coaching community and hope that you do as well. If at any point I can be of help to you, leave a comment below this video and I'll get back to you. And until next week, you take care. Bye-bye.